What's up everyone? Welcome back to the Virtue Bowling Supply YouTube channel. Today we are doing another comparisons ball review featuring Specto and doing a perception versus reality on the new Hammer Black Widow 3.0. This is a super hyped release, so we're excited to see what the players think. We're excited to see what the Specto data says. And in comparisons ball reviews, we always have one straighter player and one player that hooks it a bit more. At the very end of this video, I will dive deep into the Specto data and give you some insights that I would take away that you might find interesting. And of course, if you like anything bowling, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Now let's meet our players and get on the lanes.
I'm pretty open-minded, but I've heard from a lot of people that it's supposed to hook quite a bit, so I'm excited for that. I feel like that's kind of a piece that I'm missing in my bag, is something to use on longer patterns, so I'm excited. I'm going to be comparing it to the Extreme Envy and the Hitter.
All right, let's get started.
So far, I really like the ball. I think it'll be really good for maybe game 1 of League. I can see it probably starting to roll too early by game 2. I think it'll be really good for patterns on heavier or longer oil patterns on the fresh.
All right, great. And what are you going to be comparing to next?
I'm going to be throwing the Extreme Envy next.
All right, let's see it. All right, Correen, you just threw the Hitter for about 5 shots. How does it compare to the 3.0, and when do you think you would use one versus the other?
I think the Hitter is a little bit cleaner through the fronts than the 3.0. They're pretty comparable overall hook potential, I would say. But I think that if I need something to read a little bit sooner, I would throw the 3.0, and then once that starts to read a little bit early, I'd go to the Hitter. I actually think it's a really good 1-2 combination. Okay,
great. And you have the Extreme Envy even earlier than both of them?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, great. All right, Correen, one game with the 3.0. You've also compared to the Extreme Envy and the Hitter. What is your final rating on the 3.0, and when do you think you're going to be using it?
My final rating on the 3.0 is fire. I think I'll be throwing it game 1 of League, and definitely at tournaments on longer patterns and patterns with higher volume. I think this ball would actually benefit most styles other than maybe rev dominant players. I think it might be a little bit too much for League, but those with higher ball speed and those with a lower rev rate, I think this would be a really good piece to have.
All right, great. So Correen, this is also your first comparisons video. What did you think? How was it?
I think it was fun. I'm still getting used to being in front of the camera and doing these type of interviews, so it's a whole new experience for me, but I'm excited to continue to do these and just get more comfortable.
Cool. Yeah, it can definitely be nerve-wracking. Well, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
We got the lefty back today throwing the Black Widow 3.0. Derek, how are you feeling about this ball? What do you think?
I'm excited. I got like 2 practice shots. This thing hooked a whole bunch, so I'm excited to throw it some more. I have not been the biggest fan of Black Widows in the past, really, whether they've been reactive or urethane. They've never really matched my game, so I'm excited to see where this one fits. Hopefully,
cool. And what 2 balls are you going to be comparing to today?
We are comparing to an Eternity Pi, which should be a step just above, and an Exponent, which should be a little bit below. We'll see.
Sounds good.
This ball is good. I just missed once in about the last 15 minutes throwing this thing. I cannot say enough. It hooks a bunch, but it's really forward for me to where it doesn't like overhook. I needed to move a little bit at the end. You can see me 8-pin here, but this ball is absolutely disgusting. It's fun to throw. It hooks a bunch.
All right, Derek, so what are we going to be comparing to next?
We're going to bring out a ball that you guys see a lot. It is the Eternity Pie. That's obviously a big winner for me. We'll see how it stacks up.
Cool.
Actually very surprised. I expected the Eternity Pie to be a step above, just being a high performance bowling ball, but I actually have it about 2 boards less than the Black Widow. So for me, I have a mid-performance ball sitting over a high performance ball, which is pretty crazy considering the price difference. But this Black Widow flat out hooks.
Cool, what are we going to be comparing to last?
Last thing we're going to go to is an Exponent, a little smoother, will definitely be another step below. So it'll kind of be that transition piece once a Black Widow starts to go, and you need a symmetrical ball.
Five shots with the Exponent. How do you feel like it compares to the Widow 3.0?
The Widow is definitely earlier. The Exponent was probably the wrong ball for what I'm bowling on right now. It got down the lane a little bit better than the other two just because it doesn't have as much surface, and it was pretty responsive once it saw the dry. You can see one that I get pretty far left and it just absolutely wheels. So it was probably just the wrong choice. But it's good once you need to kind of get your angles open and get something down the lane a little bit better when the Widow just reads the lane really, really early.
All right, Derek, you have now thrown a full game with the 3.0 and compared it to the Eternity Pie and Exponent. What are your final thoughts and review on the 3.0 and what would you rate it?
This ball is absolutely awesome. I love what I see so far. Obviously, we're only about a game and a half in as far as shots go on the thing, but I missed like once and they were both 8-pins. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind right now this ball is the absolute nuts. This ball is good.
So that's what the bowlers think, but what does the specto data say? Starting off with Correen, first let's get a good appreciation of how much more consistent she is than her other half, Derek. So that is her husband, these are spouses, but look at her speed and RPM variance. Very low. We typically see about 3 to 4% variance in speed, and we see almost zero, basically like less than 1% with her. And in RPM, we normally see anywhere from 7 to 10% variance in our testers, and with her, we see like much less. So kudos to her for a great bowling, helping giving us this great specto data. What are the takeaways in terms of Correen's bowling balls? Well, the 3.0 definitely takes the cake for change of direction down lane, and it still also slows down quite a bit. So we should see a consistent outperformance from the 3.0 in terms of change of direction over time. And what we'll notice here is the Extreme Envy actually changes direction the least in the back part of the lane, which could be a sign that for her, the Extreme Envy might be only best when going straighter. And as she starts to get left with the Extreme Envy, it might start to struggle, having less overall change of direction and significantly less impact angle down lane. She may then have to switch to a 3.0 later on in the block. In Derek's case, the outlier was definitely the Eternity Pie, which slowed down the least and also had the least change of direction. What's more interesting here is being able to compare the Widow 3.0 to the Exponent, since they're different brands and very different bowling balls, but performed very similar. You can see the Widow 3.0 and Exponent in the categories of impact angle, speed loss throughout the lane, and change of direction in the back part of the lane, and in total, were quite similar. The Exponent is a symmetrical bowling ball, while the Widow 3.0 is not only asymmetric, but has a lot of differential. I think the sign here is that on a house pattern, you can have bowling balls of different brands be very comparable. Now, I think once you were on a sport pattern, you would likely see a bigger difference between these bowling balls, where the engine on the Widow 3.0 could help create more overall performance when there wasn't friction there to help the bowling ball out. In this case, because we're on a house shot, the Exponent, I believe, is able to still keep up with the Widow 3.0, thanks to the additional friction and help that is built into the oil pattern. With that said, the Exponent still deserves kudos. Much smaller engine, and on a house shot, it is keeping up with a much higher performing bowling ball in the Widow 3.0, which could be a sign that the Exponent is a great value bowling ball that could be going under the radar. We hope you found this video useful. As always, if you like videos like this, make sure you hit subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.